Wait, good. Hey guys, welcome to AdamCastTV. As you guys know, just a colored talk and about colored guys where we coming from. Today we have Shamim on the couch, and just gonna be discussing and learning about the man on the couch. Shamim, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you,
Awesome,
bro?
yeah, good, thanks, good, thanks. Thanks for coming through today. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come by and talk about colored people and yourself. So that's awesome. As we're discussing just about colored people and how we are and how we doing and where yourself come from and how your viewpoint from the colored man. So if I could ask Shamim, where are you born? Where were you born? In the Cape, in Cape Town?
I was born in Cape Town, yeah. If I'm correct, it was Victoria Hospital.
Okay.
Oh no, what's that hospital's name?
Vincent below.
No, it is Victoria Hospital, if I'm correct, yeah. Um, and I grew up in Cape Town. I grew up in Belhar. We lived in Belhar for a long time.
Okay, I didn't know that.
18 years we lived in Belhar. And then my parents decided to move. They wanted to move to Athlone
Alright,
because that's where my parents' family is from.
cool.
My father's parents lived on the one end of 7th Avenue in Belgravia, and my mother's parents lived on the other end. I can't really tell you how they met and stuff like that, but the stories go that they do know each other from very young and stuff like that. And very young and stuff like that. But anyway, we ended up in Belhar because there was plots available and stuff like that and so on. So when I was born, as the story goes, when I was born, they bought a plot in Belhar, built a house there in Belhar,
Yeah.
and then that's where I now grew up. So I didn't grow up where most of my cousins and my family grew up, which was Athlone,
Okay.
Belgravia area.
Okay, so that was technically the original place of the family where you guys were
Yeah, I would
originally
say
from.
Athlone.
Nice, nice.
Then everyone branched off from Athlone.
Okay.
The bulk of them now in Mitchell's Plain. You know,
Okay.
that's where all the colored
Colours.
people, if you colored and
Yeah,
you don't
I know.
have someone that's in Mitchell's Plain,
It's a problem.
unfortunately. So, yeah, that's where I'm from. I think further history than that, I don't really know my family. I know my grandfather also was from Worcester,
Okay, okay.
and yeah.
And then that was also something that you were mentioning just off air is that we tend to actually all be coming from a farm route. We didn't actually elaborate too much on that, but you did mention like
Yeah, my
about that.
understanding with how colored people are situated also, that's why we're all different, mostly. Through the Group Areas Act.
Yes.
That came with the government and so. So families tended to stay together. Most of us obviously came from outside of the city.
Okay.
Colored and black people came from outside of the city. We settled in the city and so on. And when the Group Areas Act, according to my understanding, came into place,
About 1966, no?
yeah, so they must now push us all out of the city and whatever. Black people were pushed into black areas,
Yeah.
colored people into colored areas. A lot of us were thrown in like the Hanover Parks, the Elsies, the Mitchell's Plains. But in getting back to the part where we came from the farm and so, those that were in the city, they were now spread back to the Elsies and the Hanover Parks, the Easter Rivers and the Mitchell's Plains.
Yeah.
And our families were still coming from there. So we'd settle with our family where we could, you know. Hence why we also different. Because that was your question, was like why we also different. Elsie's people, Elsie's colors are different.
Something I mentioned of is that every colored area, I mentioned it on the podcast previously actually. I have mentioned it is that every colored person from a different area, you could say, now you from the plain, you from the state, now you see from Woodstock. There's something that you could pick up if you've been around to most of the areas, or if you have family in those areas, you could pick up. Yeah, that's who's from Mahalapak. Let me not,
because you have a certain type of slang and you have a certain type of lingo that you use.
Your go-to sayings, your go-to, you know. So what was also interesting is that I would like to have found out is that how was Balhar at that time? Because I didn't know you were from that area? How was it? Was it a rough area? Something I always ask everyone is that because obviously we know what colored areas are about. Was but the same thing. I know right now about or it's been many times, I'd say in the past 5 to 10 years, where Balhaar would peak to be one of the most dangerous areas in the Cape. Every now and again, you know what I mean, for some odd reason. But was it the same growing up? And how was gangsterism at the time?
I think that was kind of the same like it was
So it was,
back
so it
then.
was
It's
in your
kind of the
life.
same that it was back then. I always liken it to the growth of social media, like what we are doing right now.
Yes.
A lot of things is exposed now. A lot of things is exposed now. But if I think back to Bahar, like back then, Bahar was wild.
No?
It was wild. I was fortunate enough to be in a part of Bahar that was still developing, and it was relatively safe. I was in Salvador,
Okay.
which was not an epicenter really of gangsterism. Drugs was a big thing, but it wasn't the epicenter of gangsterism, I would say. More like the middle part of or like they call it extension.
Yeah. I've got
So
a cousin over there that I would actually be visiting back in the days. That's how I know always
so that's where
other
I think
level.
was a lot of gangsterism was focused there. But we could move it around in Belhar, we could
Safely.
play our football, we could play our rugby,
And
go to a mosque and madrasa and all of
safely,
those things. Yeah,
safely.
safely. I can say I was never robbed in Belhar. Like
Yo,
that isn't if we could use that as a measurement.
yeah,
I was
that
never
is
never
everywhere.
ever
Yeah, it
robbed
was
in Belhar, you
everywhere.
know.
Oh,
So that is maybe some things that are happening now. Yeah, some of my
true.
friends that are still the other things that happen in that part of Belhar where I was in
Yes.
Salvador. When I speak of Belhar now, when I see that, referring to that section, you know. But other parts of Belhar were more prevalent gangsterism and stuff like that. I don't go to Belhar a lot anymore
Mm.
as I used to. I know life, you know, life happens.
Yeah, you develop your.
You grow and stuff like that. But I'm still very in touch with my friends in Belhar.
Yes,
We,
yes.
WhatsApp group together, always engaging and stuff like that. So I'm still always there, man. I
Mm.
could say I'm still always there. But Belhar, yeah, so
No?
I don't even have real friends, I would say, in Belgravia. Up
Okay,
until now, I
okay.
don't have a friend
Because that was
that
our.
I go to. I have a friend that lives in the area, but we became friends through working together at Capital.
Okay.
You know, um, we met, and then she lives in the next road, so we friends now.
Of
You know,
course.
but besides her, there's no friend that I could say
Exactly.
that I met in because it's just my family that lives there and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So you're more family than orientated in the area.
Um, I wouldn't say I was more family oriented because I'm not really close to my daddy's side of the family. We know each other, we greet and stuff like that, but not really close. My mother's side of the family I go to quite often, but I wouldn't also say like family oriented, always together. The cousins that I spend time with, Mitchell's play.
Okay, okay,
Mitchell's
okay,
play.
okay,
Play.
one time.
You know.
No.
Um, Mitchell's play is now the epicenter.
It's the
So the
vibe.
cousins who I spend all my time with when I
It's that
am with
side.
family as Mitchell's playing,
No.
yeah.
And I was the gangsterism did the gangsterism affect you in Belgrade because that was like you said 18 years of your life. Look, that's like
In Bahar, I lived
in
18
sorry,
years.
sorry, in Belhar. And like I was saying, like that is a big gangster affiliated area. And was there the temptation of gangsterism or the temptation of you joining a gang, or was it from the top of your brain that no, that's not something you
Nah,
don't want to be a part of, or
nah, I can confidently say never.
you know?
Never considered gangsterism. I can confidently say that.
Mm.
Look, as kids as we grow up now, we we have that thing of us, man. We wanna push make you and whatever and oh and but don't take me for a mass and whatever. And to a great extent, I still have it in me.
Of course.
You know, I'm still that colored
That's
through
really
we know we have that massity in us, we have that you stick, you know, we have it in us. But the reality is the sense of gangsterism, of being a gangster, of not having
Affiliation of it.
affiliation of a gang and taking a tattoo and stuff like that. That has never ever crossed my mind.
Okay.
It's never been appealing, you know. It's been appealing to be cool and to be strong and whatever, but it's never been appealing to be a gangster. I don't understand how they. I've been close to it, and I think because I would like to believe I'm level-headed, I could make a sane choice for myself and like, yo, this is not the life, you know, because we haven't growing up in the area, you are exposed to gangsterism and drugs. And from a drugs perspective, smoking weed, drinking alcohol, and all the other lovely things that is on the market and stuff like that. It's through those things that you want to explore and stuff like that. Now you meet the gangsterism side of it, you know. You don't just meet gangsterism like because that gangsterism isn't appealing. If you look at it from the onset, anyone, it's not.
It was a different case for me growing up in the area I grew up in, and maybe also with a few uncles being involved in a few, being affiliated in it, you know, and when growing up, I was very close to my uncles. They were very close to me. They would always adapt to me and always want me around, you know what I mean? So I would see things as a kid. And so that changes your mindset as a kid, you know what I mean? Even though you know you're not supposed to, look quiet, do liquor, hey, liquor, you know what I mean? So gangsterism was always, like you say, we always want to stand as a colored
you want to
being,
be
you want
cool,
to be
yeah.
cool, you want to be the O, and that plays along with you. And then as you're growing up, having people in it, you need to maybe now step out more now, and you have to start doing things, and that's where you have to start making the decision of how far am I gonna take this. It's now beyond now chilling with the guys. You have to now start doing things with the guys, and that's where you have to make that viewpoint and change. And not everybody gets that opportunity or chance to. Sometimes you're pressured into it, and sometimes what we were discussing a week ago on the dom sesh that we have here with the domino session, play dominoes, playing dominoes with the guys. So on the dom sesh we had the guys over, and one of the discussions was one of the topics that I highlighted, which I believe was a fact. And when I did my research, it was in a fact. I made an opinion to say that I believe about 70% of colored people in your high areas, as your Manenbergs, your Vala Parks, your Pontyville, you know, those areas. My belief is that 70% of the community is gang affiliated, where you skirting with your cousin and he's gonna go drop something or whatever the case may be. And then I did my research, asked few people that lives in the areas, asked them what's their ratio. And it turns out they gave higher ratios. The same ratio, about 17, but some gave higher ratios. And it's shocking to know that, because then what is the chance of that 20% that's not now affiliated? How are they being able to live? Can they come out of the areas?
Yeah.
Can they live freely? Because it's now 20 verse 80, let's say 30 verse 70. You get what I mean? So are you gonna adapt? Are we eventually gonna get to 100%? Or are we gonna get the number down? No, and that's also one very important part of having this discussion, because yes, the man is maybe sitting in a liquor BM and BP and is working a decent job, but nobody knows the man's maybe affiliated. We think the individual is living a normal free life
I don't
and a
think the
normal life.
ratios are that high.
That's the thing, but I've asked five to more gentlemen, and like I say, the tallies were all that. Now none of them ever. There's people living in the area, commuting through it, living in the lifestyle.
I think that one is subjective, depending on if you. The ratio is probably very high, but I think you need to do a genuine poll to really understand what the level of affiliation is. But I can 100% agree with your point, and I actually want to make another point on that because how many colored people are now gangsters because of affiliation, and I'm gonna elaborate a little on that. Like you've gone with someone already to go deliver someone like something like you said, and just this moment they happen to pull you over. You're not a gangster, you're not nothing, and
Might have not even known.
because of this moment, you are now. Unfortunately, you got 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, whatever that may have been. So that's also something that is, yeah, a percentage of people that may not have even wanted affiliation,
But they got, and I actually
but
know
they have
several
now,
stories of the one that you literally just
you
bringing
know.
up.
So those are the things that we maybe escaped. Also, some of us, a lot of us, have escaped in years gone by and things like that, which maybe saved us as well from the clutches of gangsterism and stuff like that. But I don't think where life has gone now, or where Cape Town or South Africa has gone, that the affiliation mentally is there greatly because of again the use of social media.
In the Western world itself.
Yeah, you know, there's not a lot more exposure, a lot more real life exposure. Like you don't want to be a part of this, man. This is what is happening here all the time. You know, how people are being killed and shot and robbed and pillaged and murdered and all of these. Can use a lot of words for it, you know. So I don't think there's a lot of colored people that really want that life. And this is deep in the colored communities perhaps as well. Even in those communities that are deep in the clutches, because social media reaches those communities.
Yeah, true.
Social media reaches them, you know. And a lot of those people, we get them on a daily basis, they're working with us. You know, they're working with us, we talk of it and stuff like that. But again, you can also come back to your point of affiliation because you also get a lot of people in our environment that is they affiliated to it. But I think more so the idea of it is changing.
That's good to hear.
The idea of it is
It's
changing.
good to hear because another, I'll end that. We end with that question, as the viewers know. We end with that question, but I will ask you that question in at the end because that's good to hear. Because my question is always, is there hope for us, man, as a race? You know what I mean? Like I was saying, that 30% that is not affiliated. You know, what's your chances? You know, what is the chances then of the colored man making it if the number is that high already? You get what I'm saying? And like we were saying on the podcast a few shows back that the colored man, the main is the main person of the house mainly at some points and sometimes, and that also changes because of that affiliation. You never at home. You always have to be on the streets. Your life is the streets. If you're affiliated, you know what I mean. You're never present at home, building a house, building a family. So that is a huge topic, and that was a nice way that you brought it out also, and that topic, that viewpoint,
Yeah.
that's
I'm glad I could articulate me. I struggle to articulate myself, maybe.
we try, we try.
I'm actually thinking, and I told you earlier, I don't go to Bell regularly anymore. But maybe I must rephrase that part. I do go to Bell regularly still because my partner lives in Bell.
Okay, yes.
But when I think of Bell, I only think of where I grew up.
Okay.
I only think of Bell.
But that's a bit closer to you, Bell.
Yeah, my partner lives in Old Bell.
Old
in
Bell.
the start of Bell.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, I
really
still
just
do
over
go
there.
there quite often actually. I'm in Bell
Okay.
every fucking week.
Always, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I have to put that in there because if she watched this, maybe you know,
Yeah, and I'm sure
I
she
don't go to
hopefully
Bell.
does.
Like,
What do you
really, I
mean?
don't go to Bell.
Yeah, you saved yourself, eh? You
I
saved
had to,
yourself,
I
eh?
had to.
Nice save. Nice
I
save.
had to,
Okay. Another thing in this time that I haven't been, you guys will see I haven't updated the cost in quite a while. Just growing, doing some more things, you know, building on a new career and so forth. But with that said, I've still been doing this topic is still hugely involved in my life, and it's life is what I see in every day. Like I said, we're playing dominoes. But look what topic is we discussing at the time, and it wasn't a topic brought up by me. That was just my fact point to say, hey, we're struggling as a race, and we do need to have a vision of where we're going, because as the colored man, if 70, let's say if 70% or 60% is the affiliation point, then is that in our viewpoint not success but gangsterism? For other races, it's out something else, it's studies, or it's
I think every race has
their
that
own. Okay.
that you are referring to. Unfortunately, that I, I personally won't liken it to our race. I know we have some bad habits
No.
as as
People.
colored people, as a people. But then again, if you delve deeper into it, every race has that
Yeah.
type of individuals that brings them down, that doesn't give them the recognition that they
No.
probably need. Because I mean, we have some brilliant colored people, man. Let's face it,
Absolutely.
we have some brilliant colored people. I don't really I would say follow brilliant academic colored people
Mm.
who, yeah, I would say academic colored people. But from a sports perspective, I follow a lot of
No.
colored people, and I mean the Rugby World Cup is on now. If you look at
This
the
team, the
colored
squad,
people
yo,
that
it's
is
never been this
involved in it,
much.
you know,
It's never been this
I
much.
won't even go to black people that
Mm.
were even more less privileged than what we are, you
Mm.
know, and
Mm.
the caliber of black person that they have there,
Yes, yes.
and the caliber of colored person they have there is
Yes.
like the highest quality, man.
Okay.
When we speak world class,
Aye,
that is a
aye.
world class colored, you know.
Yes, yes.
We can mention Wade van Niekerk.
That is how we were getting there.
He had
Yes.
an unfortunate world championships. Now he finished last, but what other colored person can say that I finished last at the world champs, you
And
know?
that show him something very important that you're
You know?
mentioning. I was waiting for us to get to that. Is why is it that? Why is there only a weight funny kick? One. You get what I'm
I
saying?
don't think
Out of
this.
a mass race that we are. You get what I'm trying to say? There should have been three, and then one they would have won. You get what I'm trying to say? But that is another, and that's where unfortunately the gangsterism become involved, because there's so many potential being wasted and thrown away with huge talents. You know what I mean? I'm
I
sure we
don't
all
think.
know friends that's so talented and just lost their ways in life. Maybe you know what I mean?
I won't particularly put it on gangsterism would then
No?
pick up that person.
Mm.
They do pick up a few. They do pick up a few, 100%, I agree. But what happened to me and you? Why we chose different paths, you know?
True.
Like we don't probably make the most. We average. I'm a team leader, you know. I earn a average salary.
Yes.
I could probably make more if I sold a few bags. I
True.
could
True.
definitely make a few more if I sold a few
Of
bags,
course.
you know. But
Don't is powerful.
yeah,
We want the clear way. We want the honest way.
yeah, there's
what
more
we-
to life. Man.
Yeah.
There's more to life than choosing that, you know. And there definitely are some way funny cats out there, trapped in call centers or sitting at the bank or working for ShopRite, and but that unfortunately is life. I think in the context of the Wade van Niekerks and the Gislin Colbys and Wayne, is his name Wayne Moody, that boy playing
Yes, 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 yes.
for the Bucks now, and in the context of them, they took the opportunities that were available to them.
No?
They took the opportunities that were available to them. We have some very good schools with some very talented boys and stuff like that. And I mean, like, if we look at the varsity cup rugby that we have now, it's good platforms.
Yeah.
And if you have a head on you,
You could make it.
then most likely you're going to go far, you know. But then there's obviously the other aspect also where our systems don't necessarily allow for the success of the previously disadvantaged. We spoke of it in a WhatsApp group now the other day around football and how we don't see really colored people making it there up top.
Okay.
But when you go to the Boyle tournament here in Baha on Easter weekend, does it happen on Easter weekend? Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
When you go to the Boyle, and you see those teams playing there, those colored lights playing there.
That's another level. How should
You
I get into
know,
that?
how are they not getting further in the system? You know.
Because we have a Sunday league, against the Sunday league, you always should know about those that happen in the areas. We know about those.
What's your fixation with gangsterism, though? Let us.
No. There's no fixation. The fixation is that it's maybe training the race. That's the fixation. Sorry, it seemed to be a fixation now, but we were talking about that. But on sports, there's many then soccer players on those Sunday leagues that is literally affiliated, but they are stars. Is what we coming to get to. Is what my point is. If you're watching them play, they are superstars, but they're not gonna make it to that level of Premier League or PSL. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's not that there's a fixation on gangsterism or anything, because if I were to speak honest, I love gangsterism, which is wrong. You get what I'm trying to say? But I'm just being on a logical platform, on a, you know what I
I
mean?
don't
Just
think gangsterism has the influence now today that they've
in
had
today's modern
before.
age.
I don't think it has that
But
influence.
then with that
Uh,
said, the stars are still. So is it just a personal
I
thing?
don't
Maybe?
think that gangsterism has that level of influence anymore in our society. It's not appealing to our people. It's
Okay.
not appealing to our people 100%.
But those areas that are suffering, you which
Ev-
explains you.
Even those areas that are suffering, even those areas.
Yeah, you were saying
With,
constantly that the media is catching them. They are
and
getting other viewpoints in
besides
the
the
world.
media, that is, our city and our province has developed a lot.
True.
Many won't agree, like if a politician must watch this, they
Yeah.
probably not agree and stuff like
No,
that.
but that is
But
a good point. That has
the
developed a lot.
reality is there's opportunities for our
Yes,
people
that's
in
why
our
I say
city.
that.
There, there's jobs available. We can shout that there's no jobs and blah 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 and whatever. I'm in the call center industry and there's always
There's
jobs.
jobs. I've been searching for
There's
jobs.
jobs,
There are
mate.
jobs
Though.
available.
If you want to work, if you have matric, there's jobs. You know, there's a lot of admin jobs. I mean, besides the call center world, outsourcing, outsourcing as an industry is massive, man. Admin and HR and all of those type of things. You find a lot of people working for outsourcers. I won't liken it to call centers. I'll say outsourcing. There's jobs. So our people have a choice, man. Our people, more and more people have a choice. Gangsterism now only has an influence because of the violence they can cause.
Okay.
I only think they have an influence based on that. But they can't influence our people anymore on the level of I can give you money,
Okay.
I can give you a job. Because you can become more fluent by walking into a call center and giving your CV there and getting a proper job and starting a real life, getting into the system. That option is available for our people. And I actually thought now of the schooling system and your
Okay, I got you. Sorry, you can carry on. The schooling system.
the schooling system, and I think your point for the gangsters capturing our people would maybe be there.
Okay.
It wouldn't be if they have finished matric
Okay.
and they can now go into the job market, because the unskilled market has a lot of jobs available. Maybe not in manufacturing and stuff like that, but in tech and working, think work and stuff like that. There's jobs. If you have matric, there's most likely is a job for you.
Okay.
You know, if you're willing to go out there and go find one. But gangsterism would more, I think, have an influence on capturing those boys that didn't get that matric.
Yes. Okay.
Because there's now no one to take them, no one wants to take them.
Okay.
You know, so that would be my opinion and my. But if you've already completed the schooling system and you've gone into the working world, or you have at least the opportunity, I don't think that there is much more influence for gangsterism there.
No.
And from my experience also in the areas that I move and the people that I still speak to and stuff like that, like Bahar, for instance, gangsterism doesn't have a big
Play a factor.
influence there, man. the gangs are diminished. They don't have the amount of foot soldiers they had before. The foot soldiers they are depending on probably are, or not probably, they are drug messed up, you know.
Yeah.
It's either tik or it's unga, which is the big thing in our communities, you know. Those are the foot soldiers they have to depend on. And if you think of previous times, gangsters weren't usually drug addicts.
True. Very grown businessmen.
They were business people, you know.
100%.
They were selling alcohol and they were
Business
selling
savvy, it was
drugs, you
about the
know. They were
money, yeah.
driving good cars and
The
stuff
more
like
they
that.
could give you, the bigger one they are. You know, the
You know?
more they could bless you or say, oh, what did this way also.
That is maybe an observation that I can give from my end, that gangsterism doesn't have an influence on an educated person anymore, because we've developed far from that Cape Town and Western Cape that didn't have jobs for their people. The percentage is still high of
But
unemployment.
2010, things were bad. Just
You
take
know?
it from 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
We still have a high percentage of unemployment. If we look at the South Africa as a whole, then sure, the percentage is even higher. But we're developing in the right way, and I think there's opportunities for our people to make sane and informed choices. If you choose gangsterism today, then I'm sorry,
So yeah, that's weak. It's the weakest way out.
you're an idiot, because besides the formal market where there's jobs,
The world is a oyster. We have so much other opportunities.
I mean, you see these people come from Somalia, Pakistan, and all these
and
places.
they running things here.
They have all these businesses. The informal market has so much jobs, you know. But our people are also another conditioned in a way that if you don't have a job, you're not going to be able to work, you know. But what's stopping you from registering there? But
Where we come from as a colored man and the D6 angle, that was literally the next topic to discuss, is that on my research now that I've done, is that we actually have been, as you guys know, I've discussed it in all previous courses, is that we actually are a people from Malaysia, the Asian countries, and we were not here, we were indigenous to this land. And they were enslaved, the Europeans enslaved, or the Dutch actually enslaved high titled Asians. They were princes and kings and queens that was enslaved as slaves, you know, and people with high trade value actually. And those people were then actually enslaved, brought here, and then used here and freed here at Woodstock. So Woodstock was a harbor at first. It was a docking harbor is what I came to discover. I did not know any of these things, guys. I just did my research and discovered now a few things, and then Woodstock was actually a docking harbor. That's where the colored people then came to. And then once released, D6 became, not even D6 became the area, D6 was now the area. And colored people were living really wealthy, really wealthy. I've watched some videos, as I mentioned to you guys before, of just what the area looked like. Everybody in Sunday clothes every day. Sunday's best.
are you
Cause
popping that picture in the video? Or
in
is
the
the
video?
picture?
No, I won't be popping that. You guys can view that. Just Woodstock, just type in District 6, what it looked like. You'll literally see clean streets. It do not look like our areas today. That is also why I feel this way. Can we get our areas back to what it used to look like? Because we as a people, we don't maybe even know that we as a people come from an area like that. We were called a cosmopolitan, which is actually a mixture of high society people. That is what a cosmopolitan is. You get cosmopolitans in Italy and France now. But we were one of the first cosmopolitans living in cohesiveness with each other.
So, I don't really understand that from a colored perspective. The whole Malaysia thing, I understand it more from a Muslim perspective. So, 100% the slaves were brought here from Indonesia and Malaysia and all of those types. So, from an Islamic perspective, Islam came here 300 years ago, 300 odd years ago. And there's what is known as a kramat, we call it a karamat, a prominent Muslim scholar that was buried in Makassar. Sheikh Yusuf is his name. So I'm not gonna say don't quote me, but the information is readily available on the internet and stuff, and you can speak to any scholars or stuff.
So it's nice to search up other things, guys.
Yeah, and you can speak to them about it. But Sheikh Yusuf was an Indonesian. He traveled to the Arabian Peninsula, took Islamic knowledge from the scholars on the Arabian Peninsula, Saudi Arabia and Yemen and those countries over there. Don't quote me on the countries, you can look that up. Sheikh Yusuf then traveled back to Indonesia, and that was when the Dutch East India Company took over there and enslaved the people and all of those lovely things. So they banished him to the Cape of Good Hope because he was an influential prince and scholar, They banished him to the Cape and they put him on a farm called Zandvoort, or that again you can go look up.
Imprisoned when say banished, no? Imprisoned.
Yeah. They banished him to the Cape and then imprisoned him.
Okay.
But they imprisoned him on a farm, Makassar is the farm.
Situated in the Makassar, sorry guys, in the Makassar that we know?
Makassar itself got the name because of, I think they banished him there.
The Jews, sorry.
And where he comes from, the place's name is Makassar. Hence why Makassar is called Makassar.
Thank you for that.
But again, go look that up. I may be off with a few terms and so on. So he was banished to the Cape. He was there on Makassar. He was buried there. I don't believe he's buried there anymore. Some information that I got is that the Indonesian government, after all of those things were over, requested his body be exhumed and returned to Indonesia. So he's buried there now again because of his prominence and all of those things. But the shrine is still in Makassar.
Okay.
The shrine is still there, so Muslims still visit it regularly and stuff like that, to pay respects and stuff like that. But anyway, he came here and he was Muslim, and you know the dhikr thing I told you of earlier.
Before.
So yeah, he came here. Not that particularly, but the dhikr thing that we do when we praise together and stuff.
Okay, yes.
So when he came here,
yes.
they were under like police guard and stuff like that, so they couldn't pray. They didn't want him to practice religion. So they came up with this like elaborate way of praying in melodious tones. So they prayed in Arabic and whatever.
Okay.
Now we do it like exactly like it was done back then. So it's like a culture thing for us Muslims.
Yes.
Muslims, Now that is how my story with the Indonesia and all of that comes together, my culture and stuff like that. I would love to identify as a color through that, but I can only identify as a Muslim through that.
Okay.
But to touch on the colored point, those people definitely have intertwined between us as colored people, because I traveled there to Yemen a few years ago, and I was mistaken multiple times for being Indonesian.
I was mistaken for Malaysian by a Malaysian, and I do not look like him though.
And those people are very Indonesians, are like the scholars from Yemen. They revere those scholars, So a lot of them are there, and many times they mistook me for one of them. Now I'm not saying I have Malay or Indonesian blood in me, but those people did intertwine with our people in the Cape Town, because they look also a lot like us.
Yes.
Indonesians and Malaysians, they look a lot like us, And in the words that we use, like Muslim words that we use, like terima kasih, that means like thank you. In Malay, it's like terima kasih, something like that. Terima kasih. If you watch a video of like food reviews and stuff that travel there.
I learned that from the song Terima Kasih As Your Love.
You know
that song.
Yeah. So that's how I like understand my little history of coloredness, but my coloredness is within my Muslimness.
Yes.
I can't separate the two, and for the most part, the Muslim part overshadows that. You know, as I, which is actually would actually be weird to say. I think it's actually a weird thing to say. I can't separate my race from my Muslimness. You know, I identify as a colored Muslim. You know, it couldn't have been any different. Like this is how it is. If a black person would ask me like, what, you a colored Muslim, what's your culture? Like, this is my culture, you know? Like, Damien is a colored Christian, this is what makes us special, you know? Our race didn't determine what we are, you know? Like, I think, I don't want to touch on a contentious subject, but I don't think you've seen like a black Jew. It's hard. We must probably go search the world to see a black Jew now, you know, where their race determined.
I've not.
Like,
I've not even thought of that.
You get what I'm saying? My Muslimness is my coloredness, and my coloredness is Muslimness, you know. And I think you could say the same thing, and it wouldn't. I don't think it's different. Like, that's what's special about us as colors. We can blend in across the world, and we'll be one, man.
True.
I can say, like some colors want to say we were left behind first and whites, and now it's blacks. Like, what the hell, bro?
We were not, we were always on the top.
Yeah, man, we must believe that we are like, we are a prominent race, man, you know. We can't think that we're inferior. We might be inferior in secular
towards each other, firstly.
Or from another race.
Other feel inferior.
But if you overlook the opportunities that are available, if you remove race from the equation, maybe race plays a part when you apply for an ops manager job now, then you must stick over you colored.
Of course.
But race doesn't apply with you going out here now and starting your own company and building a colored foundation.
You're the best person you can possibly be, the most successful person you can be.
And our colored people are tolerating where that is concerned, man. I see our colored people
moving,
pushing, you know. There are many, like I said earlier, if you coming out of a schooling system and you see gangsterism as an opportunity as a colored person, then I think you're stupid. I think you're stupid.
Wasted so much years.
Yeah, because genuinely the opportunities are available to us. Even now while I'm working, I'm trying to understand what opportunities there are, what we can do, and the ideas that I have and what it is. It's, you know, there's something missing. I'm not gonna lie, there's something missing that's stopping me from switching into from the secular world into being an entrepreneur or business person or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could have that
ability,
you know. I may be finding the block of stepping over, but I know a few people that have. You know, I know a few people that have. So we shouldn't also just fall back into that. It's, I'm a colored, this is my way. And there will always be that people that call you that, and that's colored is this, colored is that. Just like we'll always have that few black people that say, oh, why is black people like this? You're a white person, this, you know? But within those races, there's amazing people.
True.
And within colors, sure.
There's no other.
Sure. We have intelligent people, we just caught up sometimes. We
some way, somehow.
Easily distracted.
One more question before we head off and go to the breaker section and then closing off to ending off would be, as a colored person, listen, you've actually been answering it throughout the show, but just your viewpoint of, my question is always, do you believe that, because some have said no, some have said yes, and do you believe that the ghetto can turn into a suburban area? Again, like I explained, Woodstock was a cosmopolitan. Do you believe that we could have 100% work rates, positive?
It's not up to colored people. Just like Langa being prosperous and Kayalicha being prosperous, and led to being prosperous, that is not up to the black people. It's not up to the colored people to do that. It's up to our government to do that. 100% it's up to our government to do that. At the moment, our government is stealing every penny they can steal.
No.
They're stealing every penny they can steal. And the reality is, if you don't have money to spend, not on your people, if you don't have money to spend on cleaning the roads, if you don't have money to spend on fixing the sewage system, if you don't have money to spend on the upkeep of the whatever, the country deteriorates. And with the country deteriorating, businesses don't want to invest in the country. I maybe won't articulate as well, but Kirit, you can articulate it for yourself based on the point that I'm trying to make. If the government does not spend on the development of the country, then a people cannot develop themselves. We cannot have schools closing because we can't pay teachers. We cannot have traffic cops not have a car to drive. You cannot have a police station that doesn't have a vehicle to come out to you if you call them. You cannot have a paramedic service or ambulance service not come out to you because they're going to be robbed in your area and stuff like that.
And so forth.
Now that doesn't stem from you. They'd like to make you believe we can't come into, like Uber or Mr. D don't come into some areas.
True.
They'd like to make you believe that we're not coming into your area because of gangsterism, because we're going to be robbed, because we're going to be killed. That wouldn't happen if the police force was effective.
True. Because they'd be escorted then if that was the case.
They wouldn't need to be escorted if policing was effective. If
Okay,
you were already
okay.
in our communities
Okay.
doing your work,
Yes.
then why would an ambulance need to be escorted into your area?
Yes. Yes.
Now, you know, we like to, and that is what they want. They want us to put the blame on a people. Put it on the people of Cooks or the people of Hanover Park or the people of Mitchell's Plain and whatever. Don't put it on us, the government, who's stealing all the money for the services that should be giving us, for the services they should be giving us. Now then I come back to your point of, can it become a cosmopolitan area? It can only become a cosmopolitan area if they give us that. Because you're giving us safety, you're giving us services.
Right.
It's
a nice viewpoint.
If you look at,
really awesome viewpoint.
if you go to Limpopo, you can go research this as well. Businesses are moving out of Limpopo because they don't have electricity to their facilities, they don't have water running to their facilities because the government can't provide that. They're willing to pay for the service, but you're not maintaining the pipe in the road. How can I maintain the pipe in the road? What does that business do? He moves to the Western Cape because the DA can't do it at least a little. The DA can do it at least a little, so they move to the Western Cape.
Yes.
What happens to that 800 people that business was employing there now? Now, in order for our areas to become cosmopolitan, our government needs to play their role.
Okay.
Give us a conducive environment so that we can flourish. You know, if you make our areas safe, more of our aunties would be able to put up stalls selling samosas, selling food.
Yes.
With more aunties selling samosas, selling food, we have more aunties with kids who's going to school.
Yes.
You know, these schools closing. Why are schools closing? We can't pay teachers. What happens to those kids? That's where the gangsterism comes from. That kid is on the street now from grade 5, from grade 8, from grade 7. He's on the street.
That is literally it.
You know, we can't have schools closing, but why do we have schools closing? Because the contract for the books for the schools is given to Damien's cousin, who's only going to go buy 100 books because there's 100 students. He's not going to buy 1,000 books because we're going to need 1,000 books. Give him 100. That's alright, I have a book to write in. I'm going to pocket another 900 books money. That is what's killing us as a society, as a people. That is what's killing us. Our people are brilliant minds. We have brilliant minds. I like to say in every race. I know we want to color it and you know. But we have brilliant people who are stifled because our government is not creating a conducive environment for us to thrive. The reason why The UK has this low unemployment. The reason why the US has this low unemployment is because of that. They have systems which they of course steal money. They of course steal
Every
money.
government is
All of them.
corrupt.
But these systems for public work is very effective. They don't have a system that can be manipulated by Shamim is going to put his cousin there to get the tender for this. They don't have systems that can be heavily manipulated in that form because they know the risk that it poses to the public. You know, if our roads deteriorate, our buildings deteriorate, what company wants to come and invest here when you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my answer to your will we flourish again?
With support.
It's definitely our government that needs to create the environment, a conducive environment for us to flourish. We have some good companies that are investing a lot of money into our city, into our province, into our country. Sorry, we have some. If you look at these companies putting up all these malls and these manufacturers, if you look at, for example, Amazon, who's commissioned that company to build that Mursi building for the Indian Observatory, you know. If you look at that, there's work. They want to bring the work here, but some of them are still very concerned with a government that can't provide, you know.
The future.
That is what
we all have that concern at the moment.
That is what first world countries are providing to, and that is what the countries like Saudi Arabia, who we see now as in the spotlight, you know, it's the spotlight. What they are doing is they're providing a conducive environment for you. You see them spending a lot of money. Why do you think they're spending a lot of money? They're not spending a lot of money to show the world we have money. They're spending the money to create a conducive environment for businesses to come here. They're buying all these top footballers. Do you think they're doing that to show off like the billionaires do in the Premier League? They're not doing that for that. They're doing that to create a spotlight on the country.
Yes.
Look at our country. It's open for business. Come. You know, it's open for
Oh,
business.
yes.
They're building massive resorts and
That's a crazy viewpoint.
Formula One tracks and all of that. This is what South Africa is not doing with the money we're getting from our gold, from our uranium, from our copper, from our all the steel that we have here. We have oil, we have gas, we're one of the most mineral rich countries in the world. But we're not seeing it here at the bottom. We don't want to see it with us. No. We want to see it with
changes, real changes.
We want to see it with development in the country, because development in the country will mean jobs are created.
Yes. And better jobs, better incomes, better earnings.
That is what people don't understand. That is what they don't see. They want you just to see it's because of gangsterism we can't go forward.
Yes.
It's because of hijackings. It's because of fertility guard robbings. That is not why we're going forward. Those things are happening because of it's a lack of input from the government. You know, how do we still have schools with pit toilets, bruh? How do we still have schools with pit toilets, bruh? You know, so don't ever blame your race. Whoever you are watching this, you don't ever blame your race, because your race didn't determine what is happening right now. It's governments, and here's the Illuminati behind us.
You guys know what this is about.
You may not believe in the Illuminati. Don't see the Illuminati as a few people sitting around a desk that's plotting on the world. But see the Illuminati as the system that has been built. Like it's killing our people. The system that was built because it's open for corruption. It's open for stealing money and stuff like that. So they don't get to spend on what should be spent on, you know. So yeah, Illuminati is a very. Don't want our discussion to sound far-fetched and unreal and stuff like that, so leave that part out of it. But these governments are not doing us any good, guys. This government is not doing us any good. They're robbing us.
Facts. So guys, on a lighter note, as you guys are aware, we have that breaker session that we always do. just to get to learn a bit more about the man on the couch. And this is where you'll learn about colored culture also. That breaker session, like I mentioned, just
That's
about
right.
the options we have and the options we think of as these folks and as we're growing up. After that, guys, we'll be kicking it out and then we'll call it a set, call it a cast. I think you guys have been highly influenced by what we've been discussing and talking about. And I'd like to thank you for your time also. So, Shamim, this is the breaker session. Just quick answers from you. Two options. You can just let me know one. Peanut butter with jam.
Peanut butter.
In jockey or boxer.
Jockey.
Boiled egg or French toast.
Boiled egg.
Alright, a clap or a big squid.
Yo, clap voor big so that one hier but hier clap. Yo, big squid look out bro. Yo, we lost the big squid. I didn't do anything to get a long time with big squid.
So what did you say?
A clap.
A clap, you say. Don't wanna give the. Don't wanna give a real one. A clap is a disrespect, but it was just, you know, that make you feel like a weaker than you should feel.
Clap.
It's giving or taking, it depends on you. So I say big squid because I'm gonna give it. I'm not taking it.
Oh, is you, are you giving
You
it?
need to
Okay,
choose,
big
yeah.
squid. I
You
change,
need
I
to
change,
choose.
I change. Big
You
squid.
need to choose.
Big squid.
Slippers or floppies?
Slippers.
Alright, tomato food or cabbage? Gold course.
Tomato food.
Tomato, number one. VW or Toyota?
VW.
Snooze or stop? Alarm clock.
Stop.
Stop, quiet. I snooze it. Hey, Berenburg of Alapa?
Yo, neither man. Neither.
Okay, valid answer there. You guys need to understand that is a heavy answer then. Bagay to Edward City.
You know what's it?
Edward.
I like to white people more, sorry.
Richelieu or bathrooms?
Neither.
Neither in Clifton or Maidens Cove?
Clifton.
Clifton. Popcorn or popcorn? Wait, I said that the same. Popcorn or popcorn? How do you
Popcorn.
pronounce it? How do you say it?
Popcorn.
Popcorn, you
is
say
popcorn.
popcorn. Right. Skaapkop or chicken feet?
Neither.
Neither. Fit cook or, yeah. Fit cook or, wait, nah, I'm lying. Food check or fuck off?
Food check. Food check.
Mommy or mummy?
Mommy.
Curry or biryani?
Curry.
Yeah, I think you're gonna say both, but I'll take both. A gun or a knife, my bro. Once more, you determine whatever's happening there in that scenario. Listen, a old copper. The classic. A jean or tracksuit pants.
Jeans.
A light or matches.
Lighter.
Samosa or pie.
Samosas.
Must be. Chicken or beef.
Beef.
Cutting 2 or cutting 4.
4.
I'll take the 2. Nikes or Adidas.
Nikes.
That product. PS or Xbox. PlayStation. Neither. What do you drink?
I
Nothing.
don't drink anything.
Oh, heftig. Stuyvesant or Rothmans.
Neither.
Kwaai. Braai or Joel.
Braai.
Braai. A okka or a pipe.
Oka.
Oka.
Let's stick to the Oka.
Golden dish or Anisas.
Golden dish.
And then ass and titties.
Neither.
Neither. You can't slap the both. And then finally, black or white.
Black.
Black, salute. Shabib, thanks for pulling through.
That
I hope
was
you
fine.
found that fun, and I hope you find the podcast inventive or influential, informationful, or you saw maybe I'm glad. I hope you got to see an angle of what we're doing or what we're trying to get to.
I had to ease into it a little. I'm not the camera guy. I'm not the interview guy. I'm not the speak off the cuff person. So I had to ease into it a little. But I think the intentions of the podcast is amazing. Um, Trying to understand colored cultures, trying to understand colored people, and like and subscribe. I would definitely say that, like and subscribe.
You heard it, you heard
You
it.
may not like it, you may not love it, someone else may like it, someone
Yes, sir.
else may love it, you know. And the intention of it is not to put anyone down, not to put anyone up top.
You heard
It's
it.
just about understanding, and I'm in favor of that. I'd
Thanks,
like to
man.
come back.
Looking forward to having
Like
you
to come
again.
back.
Guys, AdamCastTV, check us out. Color Talk, check us out. Like and subscribe. See you soon, guys. Peace out.
It was dope, Damien.